We're looking at basic pad design using a subtractive synth. Now I'm starting with the 1 chord to 2 project that we've done, and I'm just going to get a pad sound from the analog library just so I can get a pattern going, and that pattern then I can use to trigger the Tal Uno so I can design my sound. Right, so to get a chord pattern going, I'm going to pick a few chords. Now you usually start, you hop around the selection of chords you have here. So we've 7 chords from A minor, so I could start with. Okay, something like that to do the trick. So I'm going to record these into arrangement view so I can consolidate them together. Okay, slightly different, but that'll work. Now I want 4 bars. I'm just going to do a second alternate one. So now I can use that in my B section, say. So consolidate both of them using Command J or Control J, or you can just click up here and get the consolidate command. This is kind of an extra bit. Now, I'm going to rename both of these. Just bring them into the other view. Now I can get rid of my analog here. I need to turn the loop on for these. Go to my plugin folder, file, Tal Uno. Now, first off is to look at this toggle switch. I'm going to put this in the middle. This is for the octaves, because if it was down here, I'd play 12 semitones below or 12 semitones above, so this should be okay of an octave. So let's have a listen. Loud, okay. And also, let's go back to our synthesis. Alright, remember this diagram? So we're looking at our oscillators first, then the filter. So, oscillator wise, sawtooth sounds kind of thin, square wave sounds kind of full. Sawtooth has a bit of movement to it. Square wave has a kind of a hollowness to it. That's why the square wave is good for bass. The sawtooth is good for strings because strings have that kind of bowed sound to them. If you think of a violin or any kind of stringed instrument, it has a slight vibration to the tone. Now the sub oscillator, I might use it later to kind of thicken things up a bit, we'll see. Okay, let's just hear the saw wave. It's not bad. Now the square wave, if I want a pure square wave, I should really set this to off. It's okay, but it's a different type of thing. So let's keep it onto the square wave. Now we'll go to the filter section. Now, it's not a bass instrument, it's a pad, so I'm going to get rid of the low end to a certain degree. Okay, that's better. Now, for the high pass filter, remember these two controls are very interdependent, and the effect that this has depends on what way you have this set up. So let's go to our notes for a second. Currently it's like this, it's just got a slow decay. It's got 0 sustain and 0 release. What we want is we want the string sound to kind of not just bang in at full brightness and volume straight away. We want it to kind of drift in to a kind of a bit of a crescendo, and then, well, like a bit of a kind of a peak level of loudness, and then kind of drift down to a kind of sustained level, and then when the note ends, you want it to kind of to drift down into silence. You want a kind of nice long kind of release on it. Okay, so this sort of release, this is the nice drift up with a slower attack. So this sort of attack, this sort of release, and then we can use the sustain to determine how bright the body of the sound is. So let's go back. Now, this frequency slider, when I'm using the envelope, is going to set the base level for the envelope. So the envelope will move the frequency level from here to what, along the contour of its attack, decay, sustain, release. And then when it gets back down to the release, then it's back down at this level. And this sets the amount of offset that the envelope creates. So at the moment we have, see, just decay. And I haven't set the envelope to control the volume yet. Maybe I should do that now. Now, slower attack. Now, release. That's nice. That's not bad. So small changes on these envelope settings will make a big difference to the sound. But by far what's going to change the sound the most is, with the Tag Uno, is its chorus section, which is just lush. At this point we could try some of the sub oscillator. Thickens it up quite a bit. But remember, not everything can be super thick in a mix, or we're going to run out of space pretty quickly. Now we could try the square wave. Sounds a bit more like an organ sound, like a Hammond maybe. We could try the pulse width. Try and modulate the pulse width. Nice bit of movement. We could slow that then by slowing the LFO. Just go back to the sawtooth for a second. If you add a little bit of LFO to the pitch, a little bit, a little bit of pitch instability can be nice. So there's a lot of different variations on that theme you could do. Now, if we want to do something similar with Ableton's built-in operator, analog. We'll use analog for this. But just turn off oscillator 2 for a second. Into the right octave. Now, slower attack. Now we have its own vibrato control. Pleasing kind of vibration to the sound. So vibrato then changes the volume very rapidly. We also have this unison control, which is nice, which basically creates detuned copies of the sound. It's nice. Now, at the moment I'm just using one filter. If I wanted to use the other filter on just this oscillator, I have to go down to one of these settings. Now, see this control here? So both the O's, the oscillator is going to filter 1, then to filter 2, then into amp 2. So I need to turn on these switches here. Now, if I was going to have a similar setup to the Tal Uno, I'd set this to high pass 12 and set this to low pass 24. Now I need to get this envelope setting pretty similar. The amp setting. This. Now, one weird thing about analog is you don't seem to be able to turn the envelope off, which I would like to do for filter 1. Or you can't invert them either, which is a bit weird. But you do have these additional oscillators, which are great. So one thing we could do is bring in the other oscillator. Now this is basically the same sound an octave below. Now if we had them in the same octave, we can detune them slightly. See, if you detune them both the same amount in opposite directions, we get a nice kind of thickening to the sound. Nothing saying we can't use our unison. That weird little ghost note you're hearing is the sound of the high pass filter just suddenly dropping. Which is nice, but not being able to turn it off is kind of annoying me. Now, this has no built-in effects, so you can use Ableton's chorus, or if like me you love the Tal Uno chorus, you can download their freestanding chorus effect.